My friend, prepare to embark on a journey that will not only reshape your understanding of money, but also unlock a flow of abundance you never thought possible. This isn't about quick fixes or chasing endless desires. It's about a profound shift within you, a shift that naturally attracts wealth into your life. What if I told you that everything you've been taught about money is fundamentally incomplete? That chasing it, stressing over it, even sacrificing your peace for it, might actually be pushing it away? For centuries, ancient wisdom traditions like Taoism and Buddhism have quietly held a secret. True prosperity isn't something you get. It's something you become. And when you align with this truth, money, opportunities, and profound fulfillment simply begin to manifest in your life, not as a struggle, but as a natural extension of who you are. By the end of our time together, you'll possess a new lens through which to view your financial world, a lens that will forever change how you attract and experience abundance. This isn't just theory. It's a practical path to rewiring your deepest self for lasting prosperity. Are you ready to discover the invisible threads that connect your inner state to your outer wealth? My dear friends, it's a joy to share this time with you. Many people spend their lives waiting for things to change, waiting for the perfect job, the right person, or some magical breakthrough that will suddenly fix their finances. But life, you see, doesn't change because you wait. It changes because you change. And that profound shift doesn't happen in one dramatic, loud moment. It happens quietly, day by day, through consistent small actions, through mindful awareness, and through intentional choices. Think of it like this. If you listen to a piece of inspiring music just once, it might uplift your spirit for a moment. But if you listen to it every single day, if you truly let it sink into your being, it starts to rewire your mind, to reshape your very outlook. The truth, my friends, is beautifully simple. The world around you, especially your financial world, cannot truly transform until you, yourself, transform. Every morning, when you open your eyes, you're presented with a quiet yet profoundly important decision. Will you simply repeat the patterns of your past, or will you choose to rise into the potential of your future? That sacred moment, before the world rushes in, before you grab your phone, before you utter a single word, is not ordinary. It's a clean slate, and yet most people treat it like it's nothing. They immediately hand that precious moment over to the noise of the outside world. They check messages before they check their own breath. They scroll before they truly sit with themselves. They react before they reflect. Without even realizing it, they're not really living, they're reliving. They're not building a new future. They're simply repeating the past. And why does every day start to look like the last? Because they never pause long enough to break the cycle. Their habits become autopilot. Their thoughts become borrowed. And their life becomes a slow echo of everything they've already done. This, my friends, is often why people feel stuck, not because they lack ambition, but because they lack a clear, intentional ritual. They wake up hoping for change without ever changing that crucial first hour, the hour that truly determines everything. The gap between a life of purpose and a life of simply drifting is razor thin. It's often just one choice, one conscious breath, one dedicated hour. That's all it takes to shift your momentum. Imagine just 1 hour of alignment before the chaos of the day truly begins. That hour can create a profound clarity, a clarity that slowly but powerfully reroutes your entire direction. And this clarity, it doesn't come in a dramatic explosion. It compounds slowly, silently, powerfully, through the small, consistent wins. These small wins begin to build trust between who you are right now and who you know you can truly become. When you take that first hour and dedicate it to yourself, not to ego, not to escape, but to true alignment, you change the trajectory of your entire day. And when you change enough days, my friends, you change your entire life. You stop living in constant reaction to external circumstances, and you start living from a place of conscious creation. You stop simply following the energy of others, and you begin to generate your own. You stop giving your precious attention to the loudest voices in the room, and you start feeding the voice you've chosen, the energy you've chosen, the direction you've chosen. That, my friends, is where true transformation begins. Not in fleeting emotion, but in solid structure, in the repeatable decision to train your own mind before the world tries to claim it. This is why this message, this profound truth, cannot be just a one-time spark. It must become a ritual, not when it's convenient, not just when you feel motivated, but daily, relentlessly, with deep reverence. Because repetition, you see, is what builds identity. And identity, in turn, is what truly shapes your behavior. You don't rise to abundance merely by willpower. You rise by programming, by consciously choosing what enters your mind when it's most open, when it's most impressionable. And that, my friends, is always the morning. Before the emails, before the endless notifications, before the world begins to ask for pieces of you. That's when you must train. That's when you must decide who you are and remind yourself until it becomes deeply, profoundly real. If you genuinely want to change your actions, don't start by trying to force new behaviors. Start with your environment. Start with your input. Start with what you consume when your defenses are down and your spirit is truly listening. Give it strength, give it purpose, give it silence. And then, slowly, over time, it will give you back a new identity. One that doesn't need to try harder because it no longer identifies with weakness. One that doesn't fear slipping because its own internal standards have already shifted. If you want to change your financial future, change what you repeat consistently. Not what you dream about, not what you talk about, but what you do. And what you do consistently, my friends, becomes who you are. No matter how far off course you've been, no matter how many days you might feel you've wasted, you are always just one morning away from reclaiming your true path to abundance. But you must start now. You must protect that sacred hour that builds your future self. Not someday, not when you feel ready. Now, the world will never stop demanding your attention. But if you give yourself to yourself first, every single day, you won't just keep up. You'll lead, you'll create, you'll truly rise. People often say, I want peace, I want confidence, I want financial focus. But these, my friends, are not things you find by accident. They're not gifts someone can hand to you. They don't come through inspirational quotes or through sudden luck or a sudden shift in mood. They are not rewards that magically show up when the timing feels right. They are built, they are earned, they are trained, just like a muscle. And like a muscle, they only grow through consistent, gentle resistance. Peace isn't something you stumble into. It's forged in silence, not just outer silence, but a profound inner stillness. A kind of silence you protect, the kind you fight for, the kind you build clear boundaries around so you can truly hear your own breath again. You don't get peace by simply hoping for less chaos. You get peace by becoming the kind of person who simply isn't ruled by chaos. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It doesn't magically appear when life goes smoothly. It's something you earn slowly, quietly, by keeping your promises to yourself. Every time you gently say, I will do this, and then you do it, you send a powerful message to your own subconscious. I am someone I can count on. That, my friends, is where true confidence is built. Not in applause, not in external validation, but in the small, quiet decisions you repeat when no one else is watching. True confidence isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. Real confidence shows up in how you walk into a room without explanation, in how you respond instead of just reacting, in how you lead not with noise, but with quiet certainty. That certainty comes from trust, and trust comes from consistency. Focus, too, is not a gift. It is trained. It's not about always feeling motivated or having the perfect environment. It's about gently, consistently cutting out the noise, again and again, every day, until your mind finally begins to understand that you won't chase every distraction anymore, that you won't check every single notification, that you won't let your precious attention be hijacked by people or things that don't truly value it. You train your mind like a gentle companion. You teach it to sit, to stay, to return. And at first, it might resist, it might run wild, but over time, it begins to obey. It begins to settle. And from that profound stillness, your work becomes deeper, your thoughts become clearer, your presence becomes undeniable. These, my friends, are not simply talents, they are disciplines. And discipline doesn't just show up when you feel good. It doesn't care about your emotions in that moment. It shows up every day, in the repetition, in the structure, in the morning when you didn't want to get up, but you did. In the evening when you wanted to quit, but you gently pushed through. Discipline is not flashy or glamorous, but it is profoundly powerful. Because when you build it, you begin to gently shape a life that is no longer at the mercy of your fleeting feelings. You must understand this truth, my friends. Every single day, you are being programmed, either by the external world or by yourself. There is no neutral state. There is no off switch. Everything you consume, everything you listen to, everything you watch, everything you scroll past, it's all writing code into your mind. It's shaping your thoughts. It's defining your focus. It's forming your sense of self-worth. And if you do nothing, if you passively let the world write that code, then the world wins. The ads win. The drama wins. The gossip wins. The noise becomes your constant soundtrack. And eventually, you don't even know where your own true desires came from. You might not even remember what true peace feels like, because your entire internal system has been built by what surrounds you. But you, my friend, can break that. You can take it back. It won't happen in one day. It won't happen by accident, but it will happen if you commit. Every single morning, choose to plug into something that sharpens you, not numbs you. Something that reminds you of who you truly are, not who the world wants you to be. Something that quiets the external noise and turns up the internal clarity. Wisdom, you see, is not hidden. It's just often drowned out by the endless chatter. But you can return to it. You can build a morning ritual that gently filters your mind before the world fills it. You can create a sacred space that feeds your true direction before the distractions even arrive. And when you do that daily, when that becomes your gentle, firm structure, everything begins to change. You don't chase peace. You walk in it. You don't fake confidence. You radiate it. You don't beg for focus. You live from it. Because you didn't wait for those things to show up. You built them. Like a craftsman, like a warrior, like a man or woman who knows that the world may be loud, but their inner voice is louder. You were not born to be overwhelmed. That constant sense of urgency, fatigue, and chaos that so many people wear like a second skin, it is not your natural state. It is a symptom of drifting, of neglect. Your mind was not designed to chase 20 things at once. Your soul was not wired to be split across endless tabs, texts, and trivial decisions. And yet, that's how most people live. Scattered, exhausted, numb. Not because they are weak, but because they've forgotten how to be still. They've forgotten how to listen. They've forgotten the profound power that returns when you stop giving your life to noise and start reclaiming it through gentle, consistent discipline. You are not created to feel powerless in your own mind. You were built for clarity, for strength, for deep awareness. That fog you sometimes feel, that anxiety, that pressure, Those are the results of letting the world program you before you program yourself. It happens slowly. You stop choosing yourself. You stop carving out time for silence. You skip the morning stillness. You trade true presence for constant performance. And over time, your inner structure begins to decay. Not because something is fundamentally wrong with you, but because anything neglected eventually decays. When you stop showing up for your mind starts working against you. When you stop giving your nervous system space to breathe, it starts gasping for control. When you stop creating your day intentionally, the day begins to own you. But here's the beautiful truth, my friends. Decay is not the end. It is a signal. It's a gentle invitation to return, to come back to yourself. And the doorway is simpler than most people think. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You simply need to sit down with yourself every day, even if just for 5 minutes. No phone, no external noise. Just breathe, just stillness. That, my friends, is where the reconnection truly begins. Your spine straightens, not from ego, but from deep remembrance. You breathe deeper, not because it's trendy, but because you finally allowed space for your body to soften. Your thoughts begin to quiet, not because life got easier, but because you stopped feeding the frenzy. And slowly, something ancient stirs inside you, a profound presence, a deep groundedness, an undeniable clarity. And you begin to remember, I am not my fear. I am not my failures. I am not the anxious voice looping in my head. I am the observer. I am the one who chooses how to respond. That realization, my friends, is not small. It is the profound reset. It is the very root of your sovereignty, the beginning of real power. Because the moment you truly remember you have a choice, the world loses its grip on you. That is the key. You cannot control the world. You never could. But you can control how you meet it. You can control how you show up to chaos, how you hold your frame in the middle of storms. You can control your posture, how you sit, how you move with presence instead of panic. You can control your words when you speak, how you speak, and whether you speak from fleeting emotion or from clear, grounded clarity. You can control your habits, what you do when no one is watching, how you use your first hour, what you give your precious energy to. These aren't just small wins. These are your anchors. Your rituals become your constant reminder that you are not lost. You are building something profound, even when no one else sees it. And when you do this, my friends, when you take that gentle control back, when you live from presence instead of pressure, life begins to shift. Life begins to respect you, not in a mystical, magical way, but in a deeply practical one. You show up to conversations with more gravity. You walk into rooms and people feel something different, not louder, not flashier, just deeper. Your habits begin to speak for you. Your energy begins to communicate who you are before you even say a word. Opportunities start to gently move toward you, not because you begged for them, but because you became someone who is truly ready. People begin to trust you, not because you forced it, but because your quiet discipline now carries the weight your words once tried to fake. This, my friends, is the power of return, the power of quiet structure, the power of showing up for yourself, not once, not just when it's easy, but every single day. If you can do that, even in the smallest window of time, you begin to reclaim the very thing the world is constantly trying to steal from you, your presence. And presence, my friends, is power. Not loud, not aggressive, but unshakable. Now, let me share with you the most important truth, the one that most people overlook while chasing complexity, while jumping from one fleeting insight to the next, from one motivational hit to the next. Here it is. Life does not fundamentally change when you understand something once. It changes when you remember it every single day. You don't truly evolve from one powerful quote. You don't transform from one emotional video. The human mind doesn't work that way. Our nervous system doesn't work that way. True change is not an event. It's a gentle layering, a rewiring, a groove that gets deeper and stronger through consistent repetition. That's why monks repeat mantras. That's why warriors run the same drills again and again. That's why musicians rehearse the same scale until their fingers don't even have to think. It's not because they're slow. It's because they understand something most people don't. Mastery is not built by sudden inspiration. It's built by consistent ritual. Wisdom that is not revisited becomes dust. Knowledge that is not reinforced becomes mere noise. If you truly want to change the direction of your life, especially your financial life, don't chase more information. Choose one profound truth, one clear intention, and gently burn it into your system through repetition. This is why your morning matters. This is why what you allow into your mind in the first 10 minutes after waking matters so profoundly. Because that window, when your brain is open, when your subconscious is listening, when your body is gently waking, that, my friends, is when true reprogramming happens. Most people waste that precious window. They check notifications. They open the floodgates of distraction. They scroll through images that trigger comparison, opinions that ignite emotion, noise that fractures their attention. And then they wonder why their focus is gone before noon, why they're overwhelmed before breakfast. But it's not the world's fault. It's a lack of gentle structure. It's a lack of sacred ritual. One clear message, repeated daily, will do more for your mindset, and thus your ability to attract money than 100 random inputs consumed unconsciously. The question, my friends, is, which message are you repeating? Is it intentional? Is it aligned with your highest self? Is it truly yours? If you choose to repeat this message, this presence, this discipline, this mindset every single morning, something powerfully quiet begins to happen. Your brain stops treating it like a fleeting motivational moment and starts treating it like a command. You are no longer trying to be focused. You simply are focused. You are no longer reminding yourself to stay on track. You simply stop drifting because you've trained yourself to gently return. You've trained your mind to seek silence before stimulation, to seek purpose before fleeting pleasure, to seek clarity before impulsive action. And from that grounded place, your behavior begins to change. Not because you're forcing it, but because it has become your new baseline. Eventually, you won't even need reminders to be disciplined. You will simply act that way without negotiation. Not because you're faking it, but because you've taught your body to follow your direction, not your distraction. You won't need to hype yourself up to stay focused. You'll simply value your precious energy too much to scatter it. That's what happens when repetition gently replaces randomness. Your nervous system gets deeply familiar with peace. Your mind starts to trust your word. Your habits begin to quietly reinforce your true identity. And from that identity, you start showing up differently in every area of your life. Your speech slows down. Your reactions become calmer. Your planning becomes sharper. You start walking like someone who isn't begging for direction because you've already chosen yours. That, my friends, is real freedom. Not perfection, not the illusion of always being in control, but the beautiful reality of being present enough to choose your next step, to recognize when you're off course and gently correct it, to notice when your energy is leaking and gently pull it back, to wake up and instead of being pulled by the world, you center yourself before the world even speaks. That profound freedom doesn't come from talent. It doesn't come from fleeting emotion. It comes from what you consistently allow into your mind every single day. What you listen to, what you read, what you meditate on. That, my friends, becomes your internal voice. That becomes your compass. And if you do it with gentle, consistent discipline, it becomes your undeniable edge. You want to live differently? Think differently. repeatedly. You want to build profound clarity that attracts abundance? Feed it consistently? You want to embody discipline and master your financial destiny? Repeat the process until it becomes your very identity. That's the doorway. Not more, but deeper. Not louder, but clearer. The man or woman who controls their inputs will control their direction. And the man or woman who controls their direction doesn't need more motivation because they have become it. Now, let's take a moment for a deeper breath. I invite you to close your eyes or simply lower your gaze. Let these words gently wash over you, and then, if it feels right, repeat them with me. First silently, then out loud. Om Mani Padme Hum. Repeat. Om Mani Padme Hum. Now, let's say it together, out loud 2 times. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. This mantra, my friends, connects us to the universal essence of compassion and wisdom, which are the true foundations of all abundance. And now for another. This one speaks directly to the flow of prosperity. I am open to the flow of infinite abundance. Repeat. I am open to the flow of infinite abundance. Now, let's say it together, out loud 2 times. I am open to the flow of infinite abundance. I am open to the flow of infinite abundance. Allow these truths to settle within your heart, knowing that the universe is always responding to your deepest alignment. So, my friends, if this message speaks to your soul, don't just listen once. Don't let it be a passing feeling that fades the moment the world gets loud again. Let it return. Let it root itself deep within your being. Let it become part of your very wiring. Because the truth is, repetition is how the brain learns to trust. Not once, not sometimes, but every single day, come back to this message. Make it your gentle alarm, not just for your phone, but for your mind. Play it in the morning before the world grabs you. Let it be the soundtrack of your stillness. Let it shape your first thoughts, your first breath, your first crucial decision. This isn't about fleeting hype. It's about precision, about gentle programming, about replacing the scattered voices of fear, distraction, doubt, and pressure with one clear voice, one gentle tone, one steady rhythm of voice that is focused, clear, grounded, until that voice becomes profoundly your own. This is how true internal transformation happens. Not by chasing 100 different messages, but by choosing one profound truth and repeating it until it becomes part of your nervous system, until your default setting is discipline, until your self-talk is no longer emotional noise, but quiet, unwavering strength. And you don't need to announce it. You don't need to post about it for others. You simply live it. You walk into your day with quiet structure while everyone else is still scrolling. You keep your word while others negotiate with their feelings. You focus while others react. And slowly, gently, your results begin to change. Your confidence starts to feel profoundly real. Your energy becomes respected, not because you asked for it, but because you've become someone who leads without needing external attention. This, my friends, is the new standard. Quiet, committed, relentless. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. May your path be filled with peace, purpose, and ever-unfolding abundance. If this resonated with you, if you feel this path is for you, I invite you to share your reflections in the comments below. How will you embrace your morning ritual? What truth will you choose to repeat daily? Your insights inspire us all. And if you wish to continue this journey of inner peace and outer abundance, consider subscribing to this channel and sharing this message with someone who might need it. Together, we can cultivate a deeper, more intentional way of living. Until next time, may you be well.